Welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you how to sort of edit and configure this new proposal that you've purchased. Congratulations on the purchase. We're really excited to partner up with the Boss Project on this and have some really neat looking proposals for you to send off to your clients. My name is Jake Berg. I am a co-founder with my wife Rebecca of Dubsado, and I'm really looking forward to this tutorial. I had a part in turning the proposals into what they look like now from the design into a Dubsado form. So I wanted to take the time to walk you through a little bit about how to customize these, as they are done a lot through custom code blocks. It is a little bit different than a normal Dubsado form, but I will do my best to lay things out as straightforward as possible for you so that this process of customizing the form will be as painless as possible. You've got the link to the form template and you've clicked add to my account. It's going to show up here in your form list under templates and forms, and it'll be under your proposal section. And as you can see here, I have the three proposal templates. They might change in title by then, by the time that you've purchased it, but for me they're called Proposal Template Bright, Proposal Template Neutral, and Proposal Template Soft. So we're offering three different versions of this form, but underneath the hood, each of the formatting and the way that they're laid out is exactly the same. It's just the styles of them that are different. So whichever one that you've purchased, this tutorial is still going to be applicable to you. It's just that the pictures might be different, but the code underneath the hood is going to look the same. And I will be working off of the Bright version today for the tutorial. And so what I'm going to suggest you doing and I'm going to do the same, is to duplicate the form. And that's going to allow you to work freely off of this one. In case anything comes up where some of the HTML gets broken or something like that and things get wonky, it might be good to go back to the original and just start from fresh as a backup option. So I'm gonna step into our copy here. I'm just gonna change that to say tutorial, and then I'm gonna save that. What I'm also gonna do is we have the settings in this to create a new project when the proposal is completed, and it's also a public form. So that's going to allow us to take this proposal and share it without applying it to a project. And so now I'm going to open a new incognito window, and I'm in Chrome, but each of the browsers should have an incognito option. It just might be in a little bit of a different place. But what the incognito window is going to allow us to do is to view it exactly how the client will. And the main difference between these two views is when you're viewing it as a logged in user, you're going to see a little warning up here, but it's also going to hide the submit button if you're logged in. So I wanted to be able to see the full scope of what your client will see in the end. And I would also suggest following through and into opening this up into a new window. As we're making changes over here, we're going to want to flip back and forth just to make sure our changes have reflected correctly and haven't broken anything. And so this form is broken up into a few parts. Towards the top here, we have this background image that goes to full width. We have your logo, and we have the title of the form and the date for the client to see. We have this little text section right here, and then another full width image, and a welcome card. And so this welcome card and this section right here is all one little unit. And then we also have Dubsado's normal built-in packages, and then another little add-on section, and then add-on packages, and then this custom-coded FAQ drop-down. So you can see that the drop-down is there. So we'll be going through how to customize this text as well as the question text. And then we have your info, which will be the client, and these are all basic Dubsado form elements. So that should be pretty straightforward if you're already pretty familiar with our system. And then we just have some additional text towards the bottom. And then towards the end of the video, I'll get into a little bit of the general styling of the form and how to customize some of the colors if you'd like to go a little bit more advanced with customizing this form. So back at the top, our first order of business is to change the background image. And I have pre-selected a picture for this. And we're going to start each of the pictures off by resizing the image to make sure it's not too big and not too hard on the browser to download, so it's nice and quick for your clients to view. And the size that I found has worked best on this full width image is between 1100 and 1200 pixels. And this one's already been resized, so we can leave that as is. But what we're also going to do to this image is take it to a place called tinypng. And that's just going to take the image and it's going to make it even smaller without any sort of loss in compression. So this is one extra step, which is just going to make it load that much quicker for your client. So now we can see in the downloads drawer here that this image has been resized. And so now the next step, we're going to process this image. We want to get it onto the internet. And the quickest way that I've found, that the quickest and easiest way to do this is going to be through a service called postimages.org. And it's going to keep your pictures up there forever. So let's start by taking this newly resized image, and we can drag it, or we can click into choose images. It just depends on what's easiest for you. But since I have it here already, I'm just going to drag it over here. And then it's going to upload it. And then what I really liked about this service is that it gives a really quick access to this item called the direct link. And that's the one we're looking for. So you can either select the entire string and then Command-C or Control-C or right-click copy, or just click this little copy right here. So now we have the entire link to this image, and now we're ready to put it in our background. So this is where the fun part really starts. So when we click into this code block, we are going to see some code, and I will just start by outlining sort of what we're looking at here, so we have a general overview of what we're seeing here, and then we'll walk through step by step on how to change each of the images. So towards the top here, we have an opening div and a closing div, and the details aren't really that important, but I do, especially if you're at least a little interested in CSS or have no knowledge at all, this little / there indicates that this is a closing div, and it lines up with this opening one. And so this opening one lines up with this closing one, and it sort of cascades or wraps around all the things that are inside of it. So we have this guy, and then we have image. So this is our first sort of inside look, and this image with this source tag, you can see in between the quotation marks is a long string or a URL and another closing quotation there, and it has the class of logo, and that's referring to this image right here. And then we have a line, which is pointing to that line right there, the title of this form right here, and then the current date, which is a Dubsado smart field. And then lastly, what we're looking for is this background image. And so we have this style from here and below, which is giving this section its main look and feel, but it's also telling this background image what to be. So we're basically just going to look for one of those long strings again. And here we go. There's only one of them, and it's another link to an image. And we'll see that this one has opening parentheses and a closing parentheses. So we want to make sure that when we're highlighting the inside URL that we don't accidentally select the parentheses, because that will negatively affect the formatting of the entire style section. So now that we have that URL selected, and from back on this browser we've copied the new image, we're just going to Command V or Control V, or just paste it on in there however you know how. And then we're going to close out and see that it's taken immediate effect. And we're going to save it For good measure, we're just going to check it right away to see how things have turned out. Great. So we can see our new background images in there. So now let's move on to this logo. We're going to come back into this section, and as mentioned earlier, this is the image that's showing up there. And in this section, we're just watching out for these quotations, not to remove those by accident. So we're going to highlight everything inside of it. And then we're going to go back to your asset folders, and we're going to find your logo. And we're going to send it up to the post image once again. It is possible to grab your brand image maybe from like up here or something. If you do want to get kind of technical HTML, you can select copy image address, and that's also going to give you a direct link to that file. But for the sake of continuity of this tutorial, I'm just going to do the same process to each of the images because I found that this would be the simplest way to do it. So now that we have this image uploaded, we're going to grab the direct link again, and we're going to highlight the entire inner section, not grabbing those quotes by accident, and then we're going to paste in the new image, and we should see that our new logo is there. Now, for the text right here, it's just a matter of taking the text that's there, highlighting it, and then typing in whatever you like to. So I've just turned it into a web design proposal. And you can change this if you'd like to, leave it as is. For the next section on this template, we have a normal Dubsado text box. So we can basically just edit this with the existing formatting, change the fonts, we can realign things, and add some more spacing or remove spacing by just adding in some returns there. So that one should be pretty straightforward. This section is this camera right here. So let's go ahead and get ready to move that guy into our new picture, which I've chosen to be this one. And we're going to resize it to make sure we fit in between the 1100 and 1200, or give or take, depending on what you see fit. And this is how it looks on Mac. I do believe that the Windows editor is pretty similar. You're just looking for a crop function and then maybe an export, save as, or in this case, I'm just going to hit Command S, which is going to save over the original file. So now that our file's resized, we can take it over to process and tiny ping, which you can see takes it from 143 kilobytes to 77. And when it comes to the internet, every little bit counts. So now back into post image, we're going to get this header image up into the cloud. We're going to grab the direct link, and we are looking for these opening and closing parentheses to change the background on our middle hero. And voila, we have a new image there. The last image we have to change here is the headshot. And so we can see it's in this big one right here. And it's, hey there, meet Jake. There's another long image string right here. Here is the headshot image that I've chosen to use. And again, we're going to resize the image, but first we're going to make sure to crop it to sort of match the dimensions of this file. It doesn't need to be perfect, but the closer you get, the less likely you are to accidentally crop off the entire side of your face or something like that. So we're just going to go for a nice like portrait length photo, and then we're going to crop that, and then we're also going to resize it. Definitely less than 600 pixels. I think maybe like 500 proportionally would be a good option to do here. And then I'm going to save over the original file again. And then we have that to process in the tiny PNG, which will end up here in our download drawer. And then we're going to upload once again to Post Images, where we can grab that direct link and then paste it right here. Now when we close it, save it, we should see that the headshot is turning out great. This packages section. So when we open it up, we're going to see that there's a bunch of code in here again. And don't let that daunt you. It's all pretty easy to read. So you can see welcome card correlates with this welcome card. Meet your name. So we can say, hello there. Meet Jake. And we can say, hi. Been coding and programming since about. And so we have changed the welcome card, we've changed the meet your name, we've changed this lorem ipsum, and now we're also going to change this about me. So that's where this a tag is. And you can see the about me text here. And then more importantly, we're going to look for this href tag. That's what the URL is going to point to. And so we're going to make sure to leave these quotation marks and make sure not to remove them. Otherwise, it will break a lot of the formatting. Copy it first, but otherwise, you can just type it in there if you know what it is. Also, if you'd like it to open in a new window, you can do target equals quotation marks underscore blank. And now that I think about that, I'm just going to make a note to add that to the template. So by the time you're seeing this, you might actually already see that. So disregard that step. So let's close that. Let's save it. And then let's head over to our form and see how that card looks now with our new text. So hello there, meet Jake. Hey, I've been coding and programming, so everything we typed. And then the about me should open in a new tab to Dubsado.com. And there we go. Okay, and now this page is good to go. The same thing is going to happen for this process where we're going to change the packages and thank you for considering me. So back in this one big block here, this is all what we just finished typing. So we're just going to scroll down a little bit and see that we have some more H tags to change the packages. Our packages, just for the sake of changing it. Thank you for considering me for this project. Looking forward to working with you. Smiley face. And then just make sure to leave this tag untouched and this tag untouched. And then we have another paragraph right here where you can fill it in with some more lorem ipsum. It's not how you spell it, but I'm going to leave it. And then we have this image right here, which correlates to this down arrow. So let's move down and take care of this background image here in the sample package section. We'll find that inside the packages styling. And we'll see that there's another really long string. That's kind of what we're consistently going to be looking for these images. And in this case, I have chosen, I think it's this image. And I just want to make sure that the dimensions are good. I'm going to make that 1100. And we're going to save that file. And then we're going to head up to TinyPing. Compress it even further. Download that. We're going to come back to post image and bring our new picture into there, upload it, grab the direct link, and then copy all the text except for the parentheses. And that should do it. Let's just save that and see how that looks. As you might have noticed, in some cases, when you're editing over on this side, the formatting will not show up right away. And that's just the way that this was handled, because these are normal Dubsado packages. The styled wasn't showing up in the editing mode. But we can see after saving, everything is showing up correctly. So we're moving on to editing these packages that appear on the form. And you can see that it's a normal Dubsado package. So you can edit all of these things individually. You will see on this one in particular, this one is styled blue, or this is pink. Those styles are dependent upon having this item as a H3, and this also being an H3, and this one has to come first. So if you do remove this, the styles are going to change a little bit, so I would suggest probably just leaving it in place. But if you do need to customize something at any point and you think it's a little out of your scope, feel free to contact support and tell them I sent you, and I will do my best to get you the colors that you're looking for. But in this case, let's just leave everything as is. But let's say you wanted to add maybe a third row here. That should be perfectly fine. What I would suggest, instead of clicking this and just adding a third column, which is basically just going to wipe everything out, let's add another column below this one. And then let's uncheck that show title. Let's make this one 3 columns. And then let's drag these into here. And let's copy this guy. And now we have a third package here where we can just change this number. We can change this to another package. And you can also edit the other things if you don't want to show the package names, or if you want to show more information, you can just edit that all right here. I'm going to save this file with our updated packages and just make sure that everything still looks good on the form with these updated packages details. And so we've gone through and edited a lot of stuff. The same thing is going to apply for the optional add-ons in this paragraph. If anything you need to customize here, just make sure to leave those tags opening and closing. The FAQs, are all custom coded. So we have this top part right here where it says FAQs. You can change that to be anything you'd like, just leaving the open and close tags. This part right here can be ignored. This is just defining the open and close buttons, which will be referenced in code down here, which is not really anything that you need to worry about. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but the important thing to remember here is this details and this closing details. If you look closely inside here, you'll see a bold number right here, which correlates to that number 1, and you'll see the question, which will be right here. So making sure, again, to just leave all the other stuff in place, you can highlight this whole thing and you can edit it to be the question of like, how long do, and then we'll copy this in between the 2 p tags. There's an extra period there. It depends on agreeing to the proposal. Okay. So now we can close that. We can see that the question has updated and the number is staying. We're going to save it and just see how things look on the form. Make sure we didn't break anything. We'll drop down and there's our answer right there. Okay, so the same editing process will be for this question and this question. But one thing you might be looking to do is either adding or removing a question altogether. So we have details opening and details closing. So that represents an entire question and drop down. So this one is number 2. So if we remove this entire thing, we would no longer see number 2, it would just be number 1 and 3. But if we wanted to add another one, we would take the entire details from start to finish, and then we would just paste it down below. So if you get lost at all, just kind of reset and look for this details opening and close, as well as the number that you see inside. We can see that we now have 2 number 3s, so we can just change that to number 4, and just like before, take the question. And then you can leave that like that. I'm just gonna bring it down just for formatting's sake. And then the same thing, the response would be right here. And then we will close this, save it, and take a look at how our 4 drop-downs are looking now. Okay, cool. So now we'll move on to the Your Info section. This is primarily just a normal Dubsado form. First name is mapping to the client's first name. We have those set as required. But you can either remove any of these fields that you don't need, or add extras depending on what your custom fields look like. If you want to take their Instagram, I don't know, let's just say username, in case you'd like to be able to follow them, and so forth. So there's really not too much editing to go there. Should be pretty straightforward, but do let us know if you have any questions via contacting us on the chat, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. And now next steps, again, we have a little H4 down here, and then this is just a normal paragraph where you can edit it, resize it, change whatever you'd like to here, and that's correlating to this little section right here. You'll see that it's black here, but it's blue over here. With the way that the styles are entered in here, some things will take effect right in place, and some things would just have to wait until they hit the form itself. And then in this case, we have some additional styling for the thank you to wrap this color all the way down. But as this section as well will just be edited like a normal text area. That wraps up the gist of editing the form. I will now go into a little bit more of the complicated CSS behind the colors, other colors that are on the page, in case you'd like to customize those. Those will be found on the bottom inside this code block called General Styles. And we'll see here is the main query coloring the header 1 through 5 and the p tag, giving it this gray color. Then the H1s through H3s all have this pink color. So if you do want to change all the header colors, we're going to be looking at these 3. You can see they're all the same. And then for the H4 and H5, we're just continuing to use the dark gray color. Then we have the dark background and we have the light background. This section will look a little bit different depending on which form you have selected, but it will always start with dark background or light background. Some of them have just been flipped around a little bit. But you see this light background is targeting a few of the rows here. So when you change this color, it will update on all 3 of those lighter background sections. And if you'd like, we can maybe do a hex color palette and just see those colors changing in place, making sure. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to go with a super bright pink for the, let's say, the dark background. And then let's do this orange and make this what I think is going to be a terribly hideous color combination as an example. And we'll save it and refresh. my internet. There you go. And we'll see that our orange has come through, our bright pink is there, and then the orange is there. So it's all filled in on the background colors. And now I sort of wish I could undo that, because now there's the last hurrah is all broken. But let's make it even uglier and just make sure that you can see how changing the header colors will also be done right here in this file. So that's going to change the bigger characters. This one is going to change all the text on the page, like the smaller text. Save that. So you can see our orange and our purples come through. There will be a couple places, like on the sample package here, that the color does not get reflected. And that's because those have been styled independently. So if you are really looking to customize even further than what I'm going into right now, hopefully you have some knowledge of CSS. Any remaining styles to be edited here, like in the next steps, you can just kind of follow where it is in the form and go right above it and find the next steps, and we'll find that blue color in here, most likely. Yeah, right here. So we can see in this one in particular, we've targeted this to give it that blue color. And so there will be a couple extra places to change the color just like that. And if you do have any questions, feel free to write in, and I will try to do my best to help you out. This line up here can also be edited from the general styles. That is towards the bottom, and it's called the magic something. Maybe not. Maybe it's towards the middle. Here you go. So we're looking for the magic line. So we just have to make sure to cut both of these new colors into there, and that will be edited. And then this line right here is in this top section. We can see there's a class line div in there. So that will be edited right there. And we'll close that, save it, and we should see my hideously colored proposal pretty much all wrapped up with the URL there, and new colors, and new background images, and new text inside the FAQs, and all sorts of fun stuff. I really hope you guys had fun customizing this package. I hope it was a breeze for you, and I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. And thank you so much for supporting Dubsado. We love all of our users. We're really thankful for you all, and we look forward to working with you on the next project. So thank you so much for everything, and have a great rest of your day.